Hey guys, it's Ben. Welcome to my vlog again, and it just happens to be Christmas Eve. So happy Christmas Eve to my friends out there that watch, and happy Christmas Eve to you guys that are just starting to watch this vlog. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Now, when I was 250 pounds, I would say to myself when I watch guys like me on the internet, you know, they just want to lose that weight so they look better. And that probably was true for a lot of them. And for me, I didn't care, right? I had a great wife, didn't care what I looked like, didn't care how much I weighed. She was getting kind of chubby herself, and she admits that, so I can say that. But, you know, that's the way things were going. Didn't really care that I was a slob, a bit of a slob and, overweight and obese even. I didn't care so much. That was until I got my call from my doctor that said, hey, I'd gone in because my feet had been tingling at night. You guys know what that means. So I called my doctor and I said, hey, I need to come in and get a blood test. She called me back like a day later and said, hey, your blood panel came back. You're diabetic. You have an A1C reading, a 10.6, and your blood sugar glucose reading right now is 474, right? She goes, you're full-blown diabetic, and you need to get started on something immediately. Otherwise, your life's going to be basically shortened, right? So we went on the Mounjaro. Me, her, and my wife, we went on that, that trip, that Mounjaro thing. And it worked great for me, you guys. Go back and watch some of the earlier videos. That's me starting to take the Mounjaro, shows how to inject it and all that stuff. And it tells you guys how I was feeling while I was doing it. Now the vlog has turned into kind of like a weekly maintenance thing. And it's mostly for me. People watch less often now, but the people that do watch are keeping me honest with myself, right? They're keeping me on this thing honest, right? I'm still eating like I'm supposed to. Like I've cut out almost all processed foods. You can't cut them all out, but I've cut out almost all of them as much as possible. Now there are occasions where I would say cheat, right? I used to use that word differently. And I'll explain that in another video, but a lot of people use it the wrong way. They say, oh, I'm just gonna cheat a little bit, right? It's not cheating so much, it's staying within your caloric intake for that day, right? So it's not like I'm cheating, eating something that's a little bad for me. It's that when I do that, I have to take away something else, right? So I don't do it often. I like to eat more healthy. Now that my body's used to it, some of those old things that I used to love taste repulsive to me now. I know. It's just the weirdest phenomenon. Now that my body's used to eating healthy foods, I want healthy foods more, right? So now the first thought that when I'm sitting in front of my computer playing my World of Warcraft game, right, blasting away, and I get a little tinge of, I could eat, and I look at the clock and it's 7 o'clock at night. I used to go in and maybe pop a bag of popcorn, butter, of course, right? Better yet, extra butter, what do they call it? The theater butter edition, whatever. It's like 3 times as much butter. Anyway, I'd get that or a candy bar or cookie or something like that. Now I'll go in and maybe get an apple, right? I'll eat an apple. That's not bad for you, and it's good source of protein. Now maybe there's debatable things on the sugars of these fruits, but apples I find, right, and my sugars have been great lately. We're going to talk about all this stuff. I'm getting off subject, you guys. You guys that know me know I'm ADHD. And I apologize to the new folks that haven't experienced that yet, but that was it right there. So today, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in and do my blood report to you guys to let you guys know where I'm at and let you guys know that I have been keeping up with my diet and exercise. I'm going to tell you what my weight was last week, what my weight is this week, what my goal weight is, and all that stuff coming up. But first, I've been kind of questioning myself a little bit due to a comment that I received a little earlier in the last couple of weeks, actually. I've received it twice now from the same guy. Frank, if you're watching, I don't mean to call you out at all. It did kind of irritate me at first because, well, we'll get to the comment in a minute and I'll explain why it kind of irritated me at first. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, maybe he's right, Just because I'm irritated doesn't mean that he's not right. right? Because once you get something in your head and somebody goes to disprove something and it makes you question yourselves, it kind of irritates you. At least it does to me, right? At least I get irritated with myself when I've believed in something for so long, right? And then I've been shown evidence that you just can't, undeniable evidence, right? That I've been wrong all that time. And this has happened to me many times over the course of my life. And I'm sure it'll happen even more often in the future. Again, getting off subject, sorry. Let's get back on subject. So let's read this comment from Frank real quick and talk about it a little bit more because I want your input in this one. Frank says, I'm so happy for you, Ben. Great numbers all around, but I still say you're not a true diabetic. That's the part that kind of got me going, what are you talking about? It was because of your weight and eating habits. A true diabetic needs to be on meds. I'm on Mounjaro 15 milligrams. I take 2 diabetic meds and I watch what I eat. And I now weigh 150 pounds and my A1C is 6.4. And that is considered good for me because being a diabetic. So be happy that you're not a diabetic. You just had high numbers with your lifestyle. Oh, I forgot. Happy holidays to you and your family. Happy holidays to you too, Frank. We appreciate it. And Merry Christmas mostly. And then I hope you have a Happy New Year as well. And then all that other holiday stuff too, whatever holidays those are, whatever holidays anybody celebrates, right? Happy holidays to everybody, but mostly for me, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So why did that comment irritate me a little bit? Now that I'm retired, right? I'm being reminded on almost a daily basis, especially now that I'm home daily, right? About how little I actually know and about how much my wife actually knows stuff that I don't know, right? I'm being reminded of that constantly. I'm just joking. But it is true, right? I'm getting kind of like disproved on stuff all the time these days, right? There'll be new evidence that come up about something I'm pretty sure that I knew what was going on. I thought I knew, I had a pretty good solid understanding of something. And then I'm shown undisputed evidence, right? That changes my way of thinking, right? I'm glad that I still have that ability to be persuaded or dissuaded on a path of my thoughts, because we all know not everybody's right all the time, right? And so that's what got me irritated. And I'm like, man, maybe I am wrong and maybe Frank's right. Maybe, right? I was just a fat guy that was on an unhealthy diet. And those numbers are just numbers, right? They're not, that doesn't mean you're a diabetic. It's just that you're eating bad. So is he right? Is Frank right? Is if I lose the weight, right? If I get healthy and I get down to a place where my body should be able to, like I'm doing right now, I'm maintaining my weight and my diabetes through my diet and my exercise. And Frank says, because I'm doing that, I'm not a diabetic. But if I got fat again, those numbers would return. So does that mean I'm a diabetic? I don't know. It's very confusing, right? So I want to do a little looking into it this week, and I want to have like a discussion with you guys next week. So there you go. There's your homework for after Christmas, of course. Don't get this started tonight. It's Christmas Eve, for crying out loud. Some of you guys have stuff to put together for your kids and stuff, right? And let me tell you something about that. It gets way easier when you're skinnier. Man, when I was like 240, 250 pounds, putting together those toys the night before Christmas, because you had to do it that night, because one thing, I'm a procrastinator, and number two, I had no place to put it because we were poor, right? And I couldn't hide any Christmas gifts anywhere. We had no place to hide them. So we had to like leave them in the box, and then put them together that night. Here we go again with the ADHD. Merry Christmas, you guys. Okay. But again, that's your homework for next week. What constitutes being a diabetic person? Was I diabetic when I was fat and my numbers were diabetic? Did that make me diabetic, or did just, right? Now I'm eating healthy and I'm being able to control my diabetes through diet and exercise. Does that make me non-diabetic? Or does that just make me having to do more than others do? Because I know some guys that are much bigger than me that are not diabetic. So, right? But I don't even know where I'm going with that. I'm not really sure, y'all. I'm going to do some looking into it this week for sure. And we're going to talk about it next week. And we'll have KH in on the discussion. I really hope so. I was hoping to have her here today. But, it's Christmas Eve, and she's got Christmas Eve stuff to do. You guys understand. Anyway, we'll see her next week, hopefully. And we're going to talk about Was I a real diabetic? Am I not? What constitutes being a real diabetic? What is a real diabetic? Are there fake diabetics? Right? Do numbers mean anything at all anymore? So we're going to talk about it next week, though. My initial thing was to keep this as short as possible. Let's get right into the weight and get the blood sugar report out of the way. By the way, my blood sugar average over the course of last week was 117. But I got my A1C results back last week as well, and if you guys watch that, you'll know that my A1C is 5.5. I came off the Mounjaro, just for reference, I came off the Mounjaro about 7 months ago, right? Came off of it, and I've been taking no meds for my diabetes. My A1C as of last testing last week was 5.5. When I started the Mounjaro, it was 10.6. When I came off the Mounjaro, it was 5.4. 7 months later now, on my own, with diet and exercise, I'm 5.5. I'll take it, right? So that's me saying that I'm maintaining my diabetes at a safe level through diet and exercise only with no medication. So I'm saying that it can be done at least for the amount of time that I've done it for. If you think I can do it longer, let me know. If you don't think I can do it longer, also let me know and tell me why you don't think I can. I think the only reason why I wouldn't be able to do it if I stopped exercising and I stopped watching what I ate so closely, and that ain't gonna happen. Because when I was 240, 250 pounds putting together Christmas presents under the tree, sweating, not being able to bend over, and my pudgy fingers not being able to reach the little nuts and bolts that I'm just saying, right? One of the benefits to losing all this weight is a happier Christmas Eve. Trust me, I know from experience. I put 2 power cars together this Christmas. So the weight last week was 157.6, and that was down from the week prior from like 162-ish, right? So I wasn't concerned about that because I'd been sick a couple of days that week. I'm hoping that I had put some of that pounds back on, and I felt like I was a little dehydrated last week anyway. So, you know, week to week, your weight's going to vary. Some weeks you're going to weigh heavier, and some weeks you're going to weigh less. That's why I don't set my goal weight at a specific weight. I don't say my goal weight is 151.5 pounds. I don't do that. My goal weight is between 155 and 165, right? And I try to maintain it right at the 160 mark. That way I don't have to work too hard either way, right? So week to week. So I've been bouncing up and down right above that line and right below that line, and that's perfect. That's the way I want things to go. So anyway, last week I felt like I was laying a little less because I was maybe a little dehydrated. Maybe I was a little dehydrated. Maybe I hadn't been feeling very well earlier that week, and I had actually had some diarrhea and some vomiting involved with that sickness, which only lasted a very short period of time. And I credit that to my much better being in shape, recovering, and bouncing back so quickly than I used to be able to. Anyway, so weight last week, 157.6. Weight this week, 162.4. Am I happy with those numbers? Yes, I am. I'm happy with those numbers because last week I was a little bit below that 160. Now I'm a little bit above it. Now I'm going to watch what I eat. Yes, I know it is Christmas Eve, but that doesn't matter anymore. The holidays don't matter. That doesn't give me a license to eat terrible or have extra cookies. I got to stay within my limits, right? I know how many calories I can have. And I'm going to have that amount of calories. Will I have that cookie? Yes, I will have that cookie. But I'm going to make up for that, right? I'm going to eat that cookie way early in the day so I can process that cookie, right? I'm also going to watch everything else that I eat that day. I know, it's ridiculous that we have to do this, but I'm doing it for my health. You guys, I'm very happy with the weight this week. And if you noticed my toenails this week, they're getting a little bit better. If you noticed a couple of weeks ago, I had that fungal thing going on when I had diabetes, and my doctor finally gave me something to start remedying that. And I think it's working. They're starting to turn like much whiter. They used to be a kind of like just a disgusting looking color, kind of like they were bruised or something, and that was a fungus. And I always assumed that they were just bruised from me weighing so much and walking on them. But it was a fungus, and now they're turning like they're drying out, turning white, and I have to sand them, which makes them look even worse. So that's what you're seeing. But they are getting cured, you guys. And if you have that, definitely get it checked out by your doctor, right? It's an easy fix, and it only takes time, right? It takes time. So far, I've been working on this for about a month, and my doctor says probably another month or two. So here we go. So guys, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, right? No New Year's resolutions. Just say you're gonna do it. Just do it, right? Don't start on New Year's Day. Just start right now, right? If you haven't started already, and if you have started, keep on going, man, right? You're way ahead of the power curve. New Year's a week away. We'll see you next week.